Hello, dear beloveds. So joyful to be coming at you live at the very tail end of this glorious 2017. I know a lot of people feel like this year has not necessarily turned out the way that they had hoped or desired or intended, but for me it's been fairly magnificent, and I have some insights as to why that might be. Now, of course, life events happen and things come into our life that we cannot anticipate or plan for, but I believe there is a way that we can ensure that every year holds a level of success and of abundance and of wonder and miracle-mindedness that exceeds all of our human expectations. And I don't think this is hit and miss. I think we can actually do this with intention. We can actually set ourselves up with intention. And so I would love to share with you now what I believe is required for all of us, particularly those of us who are on the path of sacred service. So if you identify as a spiritual entrepreneur, if you're someone who does, create a business out of your service, then there are things that we can do to ensure that our success is not hit and miss. So I've said there's one thing, and of course in that one thing there's many things, but there is one thing, and more than anything, it is an attitude. Within that attitude there are many things, many tools that we can use on a daily basis to ensure our success. But unless we have this attitude, this mindset in place, then it's highly unlikely that we're going to be able to live the kind of life that we set out on pursuing when we began this spiritual path as an act of service. So I guess what I'm trying to say there, and I'm saying a little bit slowly this morning, I haven't had my second coffee yet, is that for those of us who are on our spiritual path, that's one thing. That's actually the only thing, the only purpose of our life. When we choose to move into the realm of creating our service from that spiritual perspective, it can all get very confusing in our heads, and we can get very complicated ideas about claiming our success as spiritual entrepreneurs. And that is because our work, our purpose is our work. So there's no separation between those things. And whilst that should set us up for absolute ultimate success, in fact it can derail many of us. So rather than going towards our own abundance, our own success, our own financial remuneration, our own kind of increase of power and a life that mirrors back to us exactly what we want to be living, we can get very caught up in fear around the guilt and shame of turning my spiritual seeking into my path of service, into charging money, all of those sorts of ideas. And I sort of don't want to talk at that base level of, oh my God, is it safe for me to charge money for my sacred spirituality? If you're still at that level, then this is not the conversation for you. I want to take the conversation to another level. I want to ask you, are you reflecting God in your service? So you've set yourself up as a spiritual entrepreneur. Your work is to lead others out of the darkness into the light in whatever way you do that. And is your life reflecting the abundance of the infinite? Or are you still in a kind of poverty mindset or lack mentality? Is life a daily struggle? Do you not know where your next client's going to come from? Is everything sort of like, constant, oh my God, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, I don't know how to get everything that I am seeking? Because if that is the case, if the latter is the case, then you have missed the most important step, the mindset that I spoke of at the beginning of this video, the very thing that will guarantee that your life is, as a spiritual entrepreneur on this path of sacred service, is not a hit and miss kind of thing. It is going beyond all of the human ideas of what success looks like. And here it is. Let's share it. Let's talk about what is this thing. The very vital cornerstone that you need in your life as a spiritual entrepreneur, that is the cornerstone of my work, of my institute, of my business, the very thing that I believe has taken the institute to the level that it has gone so quickly and so powerfully, is this: I can of my own self do nothing. Okay, now for some of you who've hung around me for a while, you'll have heard that many, many times, and for some of you it will be entirely new. But let me break it down for you, because I believe that when we enter into this mentality, into this mindset, our success is guaranteed, because we stop the struggle of thinking, I'm doing this on my own. I have to figure out the next steps on my own. I have to identify my ideal client on my own. I have to figure out how to market on my own. I have to figure out what to say on my own. And we move into holy communion with all that there is, the unified field of consciousness. Just take a deep breath right there and breathe into that unified field, which is always and ever present, but that we exclude ourselves from the lack mentality, the belief that perhaps I need to earn my place in this unified field, or perhaps I am not connected, or perhaps even though I want to be connected, I don't feel like I get the intuitive downloads that I'm seeking. And we're shifting out of that mindset into the absolute truth that you cannot actually create anything in this world that is going to have the success, the abundance, the power to influence and change people's lives if you are not coming from the truth that you are the servant of God consciousness on this human plane. Now, that word servant might feel really heavy, but it truly isn't. It's the idea that you are the vessel through which the infinite consciousness expresses itself in the world. You have that great privilege of getting to put your human stuff aside and let the infinite use you to express its vision into the world. And that is the highest source of joy, abundance, power, influence that you could possibly experience. It's putting down your very, very limited human expectations to allow God or the infinite to speak to you directly, to show you what it is that this human life is intended for, why you are here in the first place. And when you line up with that truth, I can of my own self do nothing. Thank God I don't have to figure this stuff out on my own. You simply hold the attitude of use me, let me be your hands and feet in the world, and you let infinite consciousness guide your steps. You aren't trying to figure out anything. You don't have to know what is it that I do, what is my offer, how do I serve, what is my next best step, what do I share today. You simply let the infinite show you. This holy communion or this sacred partnership is exactly how I run my institute. It could not be any other way. My human agenda is simply too small. It is too small and too limited. Until we are willing to look at our lives, every aspect of it, but specifically today we're talking about our businesses, our spiritual entrepreneurship with symbolic sight, with that spiritual sight, we will not know what we are capable of. And here's the other side of that attitude, that mindset. So the first part is I am not doing this on my own. Thank God I don't need to figure out what comes next. I simply need to allow myself to be open and willing to receive in every moment, ready to serve in every moment. And the next step is that it's moving from this idea that you are going to know the limits of what is possible for you, to surrendering that idea to knowing that you are pure, unlimited consciousness. There is no limit to what it is you are capable of. And right now you're living inside borrowed limits. Right now you're living inside all kinds of limited ideas of what you are capable of, simply because you may not have had anyone around you show you who you truly are, your own gloriousness, your own power. And you are looking from human sight. And we must put down that human sight now. And we do that not by trying to figure out, well, how do I look with God's sight? How do I look with that huge, unlimited perspective that the universe or the infinite holds? You cannot figure it out from a human perspective. So this is the second part of that statement. Stop thinking like a human and start allowing your God consciousness, your glorious, vast, expansive, unlimited sight to be how you perceive your reality. And how do we do that? What is the tool to doing that? Well, very simply, the idea is that we simply put aside our human agenda and we stop turning up to our work, to our service with the kind of human perspective that is borrowed from other people. So we're looking to other people, even perhaps to people who are very successful, and we're like, well, I have to do like they're doing. I have to imitate what they're doing. And that's where we start to kill creativity. Creativity is the language of the soul. Your creativity is bringing you your inspiration. That is what inspiration is creativity being born through you in every moment. And when you look to others, you are cutting off that flow. You are cutting off that flow of the infinite trying to have that unique conversation with you. So you and God, you and unlimited consciousness form a unique alchemy so that your offer, your service will be coming through the world in a completely unimitatable way. You will not be able to just listen to somebody else and then just repeat that, or, you know, we're never that obvious about it, but we're not going to be looking for other people to approve of our ideas, because we are leading from the front. We are receiving these downloads in that way that is not mediated by anybody else's experience. And we're not imitators anymore. We are absolute originals. We are birthing what the infinite wants us to express into the world without hesitation, without doubt, not looking for approval, not looking for someone's program to tell us how we have to do it. We are creating the program. We are creating the offer. We are looking only to our relationship, our partnership with God, to know how we should proceed in the world. So whenever you are in doubt, you lean back into that God self. You do not take action at the level of 3D reality. And that is how we do all of this. How do we surrender human sight to take up spiritual sight, symbolic sight? How do we truly partner with God or infinite consciousness to birth that unique thing that we have been brought into the world to offer at this time? We move into that state where we are receiving. We move into that state where we put down all of the busy. We stop looking to change things in 3D reality. You will be called to change things in 3D reality, but that comes later. The first thing, the place where we receive God consciousness is not in the busy, the doing, the, you know, the posting here and the writing this and the doing that. It is going into that state where you become the empty vessel so that you may receive. We create from the level of energy first, physical second, so that we take action in the physical only because we have received at the level of the energetic vibrational paradigm that which we need to receive. But it's more than that. It isn't just going into stillness so we can hear our next steps. We actually create the paradigm at the level of the energetic. Okay, so we actually create the paradigm that we will then walk into in 3D reality. So let's imagine that, I'm trying to think of a really good analogy here, that you build the model at the energetic level before you inhabit or animate it at the 3D reality level. So you are not creating at the 3D reality level, you are simply inheriting that which you already created. Now, you've heard me talk about this before. You are constantly creating at the level of 3D reality, at the level of 5D reality all of the time. You just usually are doing it subconsciously or unconsciously, so you don't realize that your life at 3D reality is all your program. You just think that you're walking into someone else's problems, or you're walking into something that was already going to happen. You created it. You manifested it, but you did it unconsciously. So we need to start creating consciously at the 5D reality level. 5D simply means spirit or energy. So it's pure consciousness. We need to allow ourselves to recognize the truth that it is only at the level of consciousness that we ever create. This is the first Hermetic law. All is of the one mind. The law of mentalism states that everything is an act of mind. We are, in other words, only consciousness. This which you see at the physical reality level is a projection of that consciousness. It is not the truth. The truth is much more subtle, much more powerful, and much more profound. And yet, because we are 3D reality or matter centric, because it's easy to be that way, we do not spend time manifesting our waking reality at the level that we should be truly working at. So as a spiritual entrepreneur, if you are setting your intentions for 2018, if you are making your plans for the vision of your life, then please put down everything at 3D reality level. Put down your planner, put down your pen and paper, and go into that one mind, that law of mentalism. Go into union with your God self, and there hold the frequency or the vibration of that which you want to inherit. Now, here's the really fabulous hack here. This is the thing. You don't have to know what that vision looks like. You don't need to conceive of it in terms of, outcomes or KPIs or intentions or how many cars or how many dollars or how many holidays that represents. That's all 3D stuff. Let God take care of that for you, because God's vision for you is so much more grand, so much more magnificent, so much more glorious than yours. What we do in order to create the most miraculous life at the 3D level is simply to hold the vibration that we want to inhabit in our lives, the highest possible vibration that we can hold at this time. And the more you do this practice, the higher your vibration will be able to go. Don't think that there's a fixed level here. You are attuning to the miracle frequency. The miracle frequency is the highest level that you can possibly hold. And every time you go into that state, every time you hand yourself over to this creation of your reality at the 5D level, you are up-leveling your capacity to hold that miracle frequency. At the miracle frequency, you are simply pouring grace or pouring God consciousness through you, and everything at the 3D reality just lines up, miracle after miracle after miracle, including in your own business on your path of service. So our job is not to write lists of stuff that we want at 3D reality, because believe me, those lists will become quickly obsolete when we let the grace of God move us. When we let God be our guide in our work. And we're going to simply go into the vibration or the frequency that we want to hold, that we want to experience. The feeling state is the prayer. So what is the highest feeling state that you can hold at this point in time, knowing that that will increase the more that you do this? It's like a muscle. Any muscle that we work again and again and again gets stronger. What is that feeling state? So let's do the practice together now, the practice of heart coherence. That is the fastest, quickest, most profound way. So what is heart coherence? Heart coherence is an amalgamation of processes from many, many different ancient and contemporary spiritual sciences. Greg Braden has taken the work of Heart Math Institute, who created, I guess, what we would call the kind of secular version of this, and brought the sacred into it. And then I have extended it myself, and there are lots of other people who work with this idea and give it different names. But the idea is that we're becoming congruent or coherent with that God consciousness. So what are we doing when we go into heart coherence? We're attuning to our highest form of intelligence, which sits at the center of our chest, at that space between our metaphysical and our anatomical heart, which has the biggest electromagnetic frequency of any part of our body. And we're tuning into the unified consciousness, the one mind or the God mind, in order to become or to produce an energetic signature that matches with the life that we want to be living. So let's do this together now. Wherever you are, if you're safe to do so, I invite you to close down your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it go with an audible sigh out through the mouth. Do that a few more times until you feel yourself really drop into your body. We are withdrawing our attention from the superficial world and bringing ourselves into the world within the world, to that 5D level of pure consciousness where we truly create from. The world of the dominant senses we leave behind now. We merge with our sixth sense, our intuitive intelligence that resides at our heart. And instantly, with eyes closed and breath deepened, we're signifying to our physiology that we're very safe. And now taking 2 fingers to the center of your chest, signifying to your consciousness that this is where you want to be operating from today. And if you're experienced with this practice, you'll notice that almost instantly you go into an expanded feeling state in that heart. Very little mental activity is required to take your frequency high and light in a heartbeat. And if you're still learning to work this muscle, then allow yourself to lean into images, mental images and pictures that evoke strong feelings of gratitude, appreciation, freedom, joy. Bring to mind people, places, events, memories that turn on these feelings, and let those feelings build with profound intensity. Let's take this higher, deeper, brighter, lighter. Keep committing to holding this frequency at the highest possible level. Keep deepening into this feeling. Bring it up more strongly. Let no thoughts enter that would take you away from this feeling state. And for a full minute now, we are going to keep redoubling our efforts, building with strong intensity the highest possible feeling state, the highest frequency that we can hold. With every breath, feel that feeling state, that expanding energy in the heart, growing and building and spreading outwards. Do not limit this. Keep bringing those images to mind, the things that keep evoking this feeling state of joy, of grace, of freedom, of profound gratitude. Perhaps bringing a smile to your face, because the instant that you do that, that feeling intensifies and grows. Don't let this go. This is not meditation. This is not relaxation. This is profound consciousness engineering. Let it build in you. Feel that feeling expanding your energy field outwards, imprinting the unified field with this energetic signature, this match for the life that you want to be living, making that reality so right now. Feeling the gratitude for your success, for your abundance, for all of the joy that is yours in this coming year. Good. Taking a deep breath in now, lowering your hands to your lap. Exhaling out through the mouth. And when you're ready, blinking, open your eyes. And the mantra I want you to work with as you keep preparing 2018 with this practice is: my success is inevitable. My success is inevitable. You might also want to work with the prayer: dear God, dear universe, dear infinite consciousness, increase my power to serve. And there you have it, my dear ones. Those are 3 of my most profound tools that I use to grow the power, the influence, the abundance of the Institute every moment, every day, every month, every year. And these tools alone will be enough to take everything that you desire to create in 2018 into the realm of reality at the 3D level. Do not think that you are creating your reality at the 3D level, because you are simply not. You are simply inheriting what you already created, usually unconsciously and subconsciously at 5D reality level. Now we take back our authority, our creative control, and we birth this new year with the grace of knowing that we are consciousness engineers of the highest order. It is my great privilege to serve you. Have a beautiful day.